Have you ever described yourself as fierce, independent, or just a straight up baddie? I know I have. I have certainly done that so many times. And for years, I wore my independence almost like a badge of honor. I used to tell myself things like, I can figure this out. I'm not going to ask anyone to help me. I've got this. And it never actually occurred to me that I might actually need someone to help me. So I just got on and did everything for myself. As a result, friends, family, people I worked with, or anyone who knew me often left me to just get on with things. They didn't offer help because I never asked anyone for their help or advice. Instead, I just did what I needed to do. As a result, people saw me as independent, a strong black woman. They assumed I was capable and resilient, that I was someone who could be relied on. And to be honest, I took pride in that. But what I have come to understand through both my work and my personal experience is this. Independence is not always the same thing as freedom. Sometimes what we perceive, what we understand, and what we think of as independence is in fact a very, very sophisticated security system that is designed to protect us emotionally. When independence shows up as a fierce, fiery glamorousness, then it is often trying to protect a part of us that may be sensitive to judgment, rejection, loneliness, shame, or even guilt. So looking back now, I can see something that I just could not see when I was younger. I thought my independence was a reflection of my confidence. And in many ways it was. You know, I am self-assured, I am confident, I am a bit of an extrovert. But I can also see that parts of my hyper-independence were in fact a reflection of an adaptation. So I became incredibly curious about the mechanics of life and living. Like an intellectual mystic, constantly asking the question, why? And I see this in my community as well. These are the men and women who genuinely want to understand themselves. And for many of them, there is this intense, quiet pride that says, I don't want to be a burden. I can manage. I've got this. And it's not even conscious. Because on the surface, those things sound like strengths, and those qualities are, and sometimes they are, let's be real. However, they may well be the language of a nervous system that learned a very, very long time ago that relying on other people did not always feel safe. Yeah. So one of the things I find completely fascinating is that your nervous system does not regulate itself or prioritize how you feel based on what you know. It doesn't organize itself like that at all. The nervous system organizes itself around what it experiences. Your nervous system learns what safety feels like directly from the experiences that you have, the life experiences that you have. Experience teaches your nervous system how to emotionally, psychologically, physically respond to life. And once your nervous system has practiced a rehearsed response enough times, it shortcuts the need to rationalize or question experiences and starts making predictions instead. If I don't need anyone, then I can't be disappointed, is a rational thing. If I carry everything and do everything myself, I can stay in control. That makes sense. If I expect nothing, I won't feel disappointment and I won't lose anything. That's brilliant. This is an incredible adaptive response to stress as a child. because it limits the amount of discomfort the nervous system has to tolerate in a child's body. Children do not consciously make those decisions, but their nervous system remembers them. And this is one of the root causes of why so many of us can become stuck in the trap as adults of being hyper independent. For some, it may be years, and for others, it may last a lifetime. That was certainly true for me. For years, I believed independence was simply part of my personality. It never occurred to me that it might have become the safest way for me to be me, independent. One of the hardest questions I have ever asked myself was this: am I independent because I genuinely feel free? Or am I independent because my nervous system learned that depending on other people was just not safe? Asking that question changed everything, because suddenly I understood I was not protecting my independence. I love being accountable and responsible for my own life. I appreciate having a say in my own destiny, but it never occurred to me that I wasn't protecting independence. I was in fact protecting a younger version of myself. A little girl who had learned that relying on other people could end in heartbreak, disappointment, grief, rejection, emotional abandonment, loneliness, and invisibility. My younger self was not trying to become fiercely independent. She was simply trying desperately as a 6-year-old child to figure out how to survive. This is why I have become so careful about labeling ourselves, because many of the qualities we are proud of are independence, the fact that we like things to be done in a correct way, perfectionism, self-reliance, and our ability to cope. These incredible qualities may have begun as an intelligent adaptation. And they're incredible. And the goal is not to lose those qualities. Never, because we need them. They are the foundation of success. The goal has to become to survive them so that they can become our choices rather than our necessities. There is a world of difference between saying, I can stand on my own, and I have to stand on my own. Do you see? Healthy independence gives you the freedom to receive help without feeling guilty, to let someone care for you without wondering what you owe them, what you have to give them in return. What's the payback? Where's the other shoe going to drop? It allows you to lean on another person, to fully lean into them without feeling weak. Healthy independence offers you a soft place to land when your heart needs to be held or sheltered because it is feeling vulnerable, sensitive, or just alone. This is not dependence. This is the ultimate safety. Healthy independence is the ultimate safety. So today, I still value my independence. My independence has given me my life. Perhaps I value it even more than I did before because it feels very, very different now. For a start, it is not based in anxiety anymore. My independence does not come from my anxiety. It no longer comes from believing I have to do everything by myself, or the fear of having to be everything and everyone for everyone else, which triggers the fears that drive the hyper-independence. Today, my independence feels like connection, freedom, and safety. Because I know I do not have to be independent in order to feel like I belong in my own life. And that has been one of the most liberating discoveries of my life. So maybe the question isn't, why am I like this? Perhaps the better question is, when did this become the safest way for me to be? Because one question asks, what is wrong with me? The other gently asks, what happened that made me feel this way was necessary? And that question opens the door to compassion. And compassion is the medicine that heals all. For me, understanding this changed everything. It helped me stop blaming myself. And it helped me to see my independence through a completely different lens. But it also led to another question. If understanding our adaptations brings compassion, what helps us create lasting change? That is the question that eventually became the Neuro-Heart Alchemy method, and is something I will explore in future videos. So if you have gotten value from this video today, then please continue this conversation with me. If you can see yourself in anything that I've described, perhaps take a moment to ask yourself this. Is your independence coming from freedom or from protection? Because they can look remarkably similar from the outside, but they feel very different on the inside. And perhaps you are never trying to push people away. Perhaps your nervous system was simply trying to protect someone who once believed they had to face the world alone. If this resonates, you can begin by exploring your own adaptive patterns through the free Neuro-Heart Alchemy assessment. The link is in the comments section of this video. The link is in the description, rather. And please do leave me a comment and let me know what role independence plays in your life. And if you would like to continue and go deeper, I would love for you to join me right here in the Trust Archive. So please like and subscribe, where together we explore the questions that help us understand ourselves with a little bit more compassion, a little bit more clarity, and over time discover what lasting change can really look like. This is such an important subject because sometimes the strongest thing about us is simply the part of us that once needed the most protection. Yeah, that's it.